Victoria Bitter is an iconic beer brand that originated in Melbourne, Victoria. It started back in 1854 when Thomas Atkin, founder and head brewer of the Victorian Brewery, decided there ought to be a beer specifically brewed for harsh Aussie climate. A full-flavoured, full-strength beer that would quench a hard-earned thirst like no other. Well, Thomas certainly got the recipe right because VB now stands as Australia's #1 selling beer. VB owe their success to the crisp brew that is perfectly suited to the Australian climate, the fair price point, and finally, their consistently successful advertising campaigns. Being an alcoholic beverage, VB has encountered some advertising restrictions, such as advertising during children's programs. However, VB has still managed to become a brand recognised in almost all households around Australia. According to the FCB grid, VB is classified as a low involvement product, therefore having this nationally well recognised brand name works in their favour. VB's target audience is Aussie blokes. Being an Aussie bloke is a national identity that represents the working class male Aussie, who is a bit rough around the edges. The Aussie bloke typically wears a flannel, thongs, and footy shorts. He is heavily into team sport, particularly footy and cricket. He's a good guy with an even better sense of humour. This target audience is perfectly appropriate for the VB marketing campaign because of two key defining qualities of the Aussie bloke. He's not afraid of a bit of hard yakka, and he drinks heavily. This is why a hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer, and the best cold beer is Victoria Bitter resonates so well with the Aussie bloke. The key consumer insight is Victoria Bitter is a self-reward for all my hard work. I choose to drink VB because I deserve to drink VB, and that makes me a true Aussie. VB currently has a very specific target market, being male blue-collar workers. This is something they attempted to change in 2009 by an ad campaign titled The Drinking Beer, which targeted Australian beer drinkers as a whole. The campaign coincided with changes in packaging, marketing, and the formula, namely a decrease in alcohol content from 4.8 to 4.6%. However, the consumer insight that VB is a beer for working-class Aussie blokes couldn't be changed. VB recognised their mistake in 2010 and brought back the original packaging, formula, and For a Hard-Earned Thirst campaign. The objective of this campaign is clear: to return the iconic VB to its best and reconnect with the working class target market. This objective was reached when VB reclaimed the title as Australia's #1 best-selling beer in 2013. In their campaign, VB uses effective appeals to stimulate the wants of the target market and to evoke emotions and feelings within them. Beer is a low-involvement product, and the peripheral cues are thus more important than the message content. VB has taken the creative approach of appealing to stereotypes, that stereotype being the Aussie bloke. The advertisement depicts men, but only working-class men. The running theme is the man's hands, with the voiceover encouraging
Get 'em dirty.
in the rough, blokey tone that is consistent throughout. The end result is the target market buys the product, not because of the quality or the price, but because they fit the stereotype. The ad also exploits emotional appeals to reach the end consumer. VB taps into the psychological and social needs of the consumer by putting a focus on mateship. The final clip of the advertisement shows a couple of blokes standing in a backyard, passing one another a beer and enjoying it together. This represents beer as drinking as a social norm that will make you more approachable, sociable, and likable. Lifestyle, culture, and humour are the three key executional techniques employed in this advertisement. The lifestyle of the men in the advertisement is consistent with the stereotype VB is attempting to appeal to. Mateship, beer drinking, and hard yakka are deeply ingrained into the Australian culture, and VB represents all three in this campaign. The Aussie bloke typically has a wicked sense of humour.
When it's handmade, it's made well.
And the advertisement clearly appeals to this as well. The advertisement is backed by the iconic Victoria Bitter theme song, increasing the recognisability of the ad and reinforcing the brand. This campaign began in the early 60s, and it has been so wonderfully successful that it still remains today. One way the campaign could be improved is by adding further peripheral cues such as celebrity endorsements. This campaign was floated on a variety of media channels, including TV, Twitter, and YouTube. However, it was excluded from channels such as Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. Pinterest and Instagram were most probably excluded because they are most used by young females, and this is not VB's target market. It is difficult to say why Facebook was excluded, but it may be because the advertisement is for a mature audience, and Facebook has many underage users. In accordance with the Australian Communications and Media Authority, VB chooses specific times to air the advertisement on TV, especially after 5 p.m. and most frequently during sports programs. This is because their target market is a demographic that is heavily involved with sports, and since they are working class, they typically work from 9 till 5. By airing the advertisements at these times, the campaign had the best chance of reaching the target market. In future, VB could increase their media exposure through the use of radio advertising. This would be an effective method of reaching their target market, as a majority of work sites have a radio playing. Furthermore, it is a perfect time to reaffirm the idea that VB is for a hard-earned thirst.